Malibu. This Malibu's been with me now 10 years. Or I've been with her for 10 years. Good old Malibu. Chevy. Whose sign is what? Oh, it's the Chevrolet sign. Corporate logo. Well, yes, it's the cross of Christ, of course. Which is at your chest. And, of course, at the crucifixion of Golgotha, place of the skull, with the temples, or the temp-els, the pair of L's, the parallels. Par-all-L. Super lemon haze here. This is a video I'm making for what for now will be the final WordPress post on KyleGrant76.com called A. Yesterday's was I, today's A. AI. 2019, 1 and 9. A is 1, I is 9. The year of AI. Am I saying definitively that artificial intelligence, like in the Matrix, will become singular and autonomic or sentient this year? Am I saying that? Am I making that claim? No. I'm not predicting anything. It's always now. I can predict the future because the future is now, then. If you want to know what's coming, look into the now. But clearly the agenda is, like Trutheresy points out, clamping consciousness, clamping the perceptions and what's accepted down to this narrow bandwidth of 2D flat world, flat plane. 2D is just north, south, left, and right. The vertical L meeting the horizontal L lines in the center, or the making the torus get the neuter, where all opposition of left and right, up and down is canceled out, and then you get depth, the third 3 of 3D. This would be length. This would be width, and this is depth, front and back. Length, width, depth. So back and front, right? This is what completes the 3D and makes it no longer just a flat plane, right? Front and back, all the way around, yes. So claiming Earth is flat is like claiming your head is flat. It really is. This is the basics of what we're talking about at the 6 o'clock, the base 6 upon which everything's based. The heel of hell below, it's the southern position, the south, and then head would be the north, heaven. Hell is south, heaven is north. Heaved up, the heart and the head of the torso of your anatomy. Symbolically, this would be your waistline of Libra, of the hips, of the balancing of the scales, of the psyche, of even, of evening, of all even, L even, of September separation at 7 ember, October 8 ember, November 9 ember, and December 10 ember. Before you get to Janus Aerie, January, which would be 11, and February 12, and then March 1. These are all the quartors of Taurus, the 4 Tauruses, or the bulls, of the bullseye, of the year, of the circle, of the serpent, of nature, of time, T number twin T, of Adam, Eve, odd, even, sunrise, sunset, Horus, set, dawn, evening, yang and yin, sun and moon, east and west, rise and set, The axis is the A6 of the 3D, because the 3D is defined by the 2 in each of the Ds, or the dimensions or the doors of the Daleth, of the delta, of Phoenician, the 4th letter. So it's 1, 2 north-south, 3, 4 east-west, and then 5, 6 front-back. That's why we have the axis or the A6 of the hexagram, with yang going up, triangle going up, yin, triangle going down, merged to make the hexa of the tetragrammaton. In 2D, a pyramid is a triangle. In 3D, it's a tetrahedron. 4, the pyramid, so the 4 and the 6, and the 3 and the 4, and the 3D and the 4D and 5D and 6D. See, the thing is, once the 3D universe, with its vertical axis to which you could have an access through your spine and your pineal gland and the pituitary of the brain tree of the cerebrum, cherubim in the east, the right hemisphere of right intuitive, silence-based consciousness beyond the society, the sea of consciousness outside of social consciousness, which imprisons you in a third of your functioning, which is why the altered ego of society, the individual psyche of even Eve, yoked or bound or set or joined or bound to society, is the evening of the psyche. It's evil time of social dominated survival based limited consciousness, which we see in the first episode of the new season, 5th season of Black Mirror, not Dark Mirror, Black Mirror, Obsidian Mirror, with Miley Osiris. Yes. They show what they program the oh my goodness, the little AI dolls of the pop star. This is like what we're being shown now, guys. You know, it's and the way it's being shown is truly breathtaking and stunning, because we're so close to this transhuman nightmare. Malibu. Californication. We're going to do this, and then we're going to go to etymology of bell, maybe, or some etymology anyway, to finish it all off. Oh yeah, the A. Etymology. Letter A. I never came to the beach or stood by the ocean. I never sat by the shore under the sun with my feet in the sand, but you brought me here. And I'm happy you did, 'cause now I'm free as birds, catching the wind. I always thought I would sink, so I never swam. I never went boating, never get how they're floating, and sometimes I get so scared of what I can't understand. But here I am, next to you. The sky's more blue in Malibu, next to you. I'm gonna do this over because I'm not gonna hold on. I had the music too low before. Right, I did. Let's start over. 62 seems perfect. I never came to the beach or stood by the ocean. I never sat by the shore under the sun with my feet in the sand, but you brought me here, and I'm happy that you did, 'cause now I'm as free as birds catching the wind. I always thought I would sink, so I never swam. I never went boating, don't get how they're floating, and sometimes I get so scared for what I can't understand. But here I am, next to you. The sky's more blue in Malibu, next to you in Malibu, next to you. We watch the sun go down as we're walking. I'd spend the rest of my life just standing here talking. You would explain the current as I just smile, hoping that you'll stay the same and nothing will change, and it'll be us just for a while. Do we even exist? It's when I make a wish to swim away with the fish. Is it supposed to be this hot all summer long? I never would have believed you if 3 years ago you told me I'd be here writing the song. But here I am, next to you. The sky's so blue in Malibu, next to you in Malibu, next to you. Next to you, the sky is so blue in Malibu. Next to you, we are just like waves that flow back and forth. Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning and you're there to save me, and I want to thank you with all of my heart. It's a brand new start, a dream come true in Malibu.
With moderate to severe ulcer.
I don't know why I love her like I do. All the changes you put me through. Take my money, my cigarettes. I haven't seen the worst of it yet. I wanna know that you tell me I love to stay. Take me to the river. Drop me in the water. Take me to the river. Dip me in the water. Washing me down. Washing me down. I don't know why you treat me so bad. Think of all the things we could have had. Love is an ocean that I can't forget. My sweet 16 I would never regret. I wanna know that you tell me I love to stay. Take me to the river. Drop me in the water. Push me in the river. I'll dip me in the water. Washing me down. Washing me. Hug me. Squeeze me. Love me. Tease me till I can't I can't take no more of it. In the water, drop me in the river, push me in the water, drop me in the river, washing me down. Washing me down. I don't know why I love you like I do. All the troubles you put me through. 16 candles there on the wall, and here I am, the biggest fool of them all. I wanna know that you'll tell me I love to stay. Take me to the river, drop me in the water. Dip me in the river, drop me in the water, wash me down, wash me down. Hey la 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 oh, hey la 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 la, ooh la 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 oh, hey la la, ooh la 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 la. Alrighty, now I'm gonna see if I can find an article to read to you on artificial
You think you already have a stunning website? That's cool. You're welcome to skip or create your site now.
intelligence
Wix.com. There are hundreds of beautiful
and
templates,
transhumanism.
and every part is completely customizable. I I'm professional. and my website should be
Transhumanism.
too. We just need to pick the
Artificial intelligence, transhumanism, and the church. Delinking the human from human rights. Artificial human rights frameworks are deeply embedded in a discourse that privileges the human in human rights. However, conceptions of what constitutes the human are being eroded through the development of artificial intelligence and transhumanism. Let's go to that article. It looks good. Open Global Rights. This is called Delinking the Human in quotes from human rights. This is www.openglobalrights.org. Delinking the Human from Human Rights, Artificial Intelligence, and Transhumanism. Jeepers creepers. And so keep in mind that what I've shared with you about the letter A, we're going to go to that maybe, but the A is from the Phoenician Aleph. And turn our capital A upside down. And you see the bull with his horns. I gave him a little smiley face just to make it clear what's being depicted here. It's the head of the bull. The alpha, the L, is El, the bull god of Canaanite Phoenician. Why you have El at the end of angel and all the angel names, which are the messengers of El. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Ariel, E plus L, which is our the phonetic of our letter L, of all alliteration, of literary and literal. So you have the Torah and the Bible of the Aleph, with his shroud of Torin, and the torso of time, of the tree, of life, of all. A-L-L. All 12. L is 12th letter in the English alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Elemento. You know, that's like, that was one word to me when I learned it. But there's no, they don't tell you that, and then you have Taurus, the sun in Taurus. This is what all of this is about. We just passed through that this year, and now we're in Gemini, in this ascendant quarter of the year of Taurus, the Quartor, the Quart you are, the 4 you are, quarters of you. Your body is all of this. Taurus in the cerebellum and the throat, from which all stories or Tauruses are spoken, told. Tell. You tell the tale. The bull has his tail, of course, same with the ram, who's Aries, or the lamb of God, of Passover, the Passover lamb. When the sun passes over the equatorial plane, the sun makes the S, so that's why the sun is S-U-N, the one S. Un S and on S, on. And the sun and sun homophone are because male, yang, Adam is sun, feminine, yin, Eve, evening, Libra is moon, Venus and Mars, sun and moon. Men are from Mars, Aries, women are from Venus. On the equator, equal, even, balanced, equinox, equal day and night. Separate but equal, distinct, meeting in the mid-L and canceling each other out, neutered, neutral, neither. And the vertic L that goes into pure consciousness beyond the dualism of body and mind, soma and psyche. The tension transcended, to be transparent to transcendence. Delinking the human from human rights, artificial intelligence and transhumanism. This was last year. What was the date? April 10th. No, this was this year, April 10th, 2019. So, not old news at all by any stretch. OpenGlobalRights.org by A. Qayyum Ahmed. Human rights frameworks are deeply embedded in a discourse that privileges the human in human rights. However, conceptions of what constitutes the human are being eroded through the development of artificial intelligence, or AI, and transhumanism, both of which support the emergence of new kinds of humans. Scholars that have begun to examine these questions employ the human/non-human binary to argue that it may be beneficial to expand human rights to incorporate the non-human machine, and that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights could possibly extend to some sentient non-humans. While these perspectives are incredibly valuable in shaping the debate around AI and human rights, some fundamental questions remain unanswered. First, who is the human in human rights? The debate thus far assumes that we can distinguish fairly easily between a human being and a non-human machine. However, this binary becomes increasingly complex when we acknowledge that not only are machines evolving toward humanness, but that humans are simultaneously evolving toward machines. For instance, AI has fueled the idea of transhumanism, a movement predicated on the belief that we should use technology to control the future evolution of the human species. Transhumanists seek to radically extend life by engineering immortality through technology. Consequently, as humans evolve toward machines, one could imagine the development of cyborgs that have mechanical elements built into the human body to create a combination of flesh, blood, and microchips. The Cyborg Foundation has already created a cyborg Bill of Rights that include equality for mutants, which provides that a, quote, a legally recognized mutant shall enjoy all the rights, benefits, and responsibilities extended to natural persons. At the same time, the idea of a legally recognized mutant raises a second question. Who gets to decide who is human and who is not? The question, which is connected to the power to grant the legal status of human, should be understood in the broader historical context of how the category of human first emerged as a way of delineating between God, man, and animal. The idea of human, therefore, remains deeply embedded in a colonial discourse centered on the white European man that has historically excluded women, black people, queer people, and people with disabilities, among others. Drawing on Sylvia Wynter's work on the construction of the human, Walter Mignolo asserts that the category of human was developed in order to distinguish between entities that were, quote, entities that were lesser than or non-human, unquote. Mignolo engages with the question of what it means to be human to demonstrate how decolonial thinking can break down the idea of human to reveal its true meaning. Once the meaning of human is revealed, Mignolo finds, quote, I do not want to be human, but instead of rejecting its content and simply adding a prefix, or in parentheses, post-human, decolonial thinkers start by asking how these concepts came into being, when, why, who, and what for. Consequently, if we recognize that the category of human is deeply problematic because of its historical construction, as well as inadequate in relation to its futuristic application, then instead of trying to expand the category of human, it may be more prudent to de-link the human from human rights. by employing decoloniality as a framework that seeks to de-link from dominant Western sources of knowledge. Decolonial options, quote-unquote, can be developed to reconstitute our understanding of human rights. This process, according to Plastanova and Mignolo, quote, places the problem or problems to be addressed and not the object or objects to be studied in the foreground. For Slotnova and Mignolo, the project of developing a decolonial option should be led by, quote, social actors Frantz Fanon referred to as les dames de la terre, 1967. All those humiliated, devalued, disregarded, disavowed, and dealing with the colonial wound. As a result, Salil Shetty's call to decolonialize human rights and Cesar Rodriguez Garavito's assertion that human rights requires reimagination, informed and supported by alternative frames of justice, compels us to consider whether the human in human rights may be constraining the future direction of rights discourses. Adopting a decolonial approach could assist in the reimagination process that Rodriguez Garavito asks us to engage in and that we are increasingly forced to confront because of technological developments such as AI. Instead of limiting our imagination to a human-centered rights discourse that is struggling to fit enhanced humans and sentient machines into the category of human, perhaps it is time to de-link the human from human rights. A. Qayyum Ahmed is the Division Director for Access and Accountability at the Public Health Program, PHP, of the Open Society Foundations in New York, where he leads PHP's global work on access to medicines and innovation. He also teaches a class on socioeconomic rights as an adjunct faculty member at Columbia Law School. Before joining OSF, Qayyum served as Chief Executive Officer of the South African Human Rights Commission from 20 to 2015. Obviously, Qayyum Ahmed is firmly in the belly of the beast. And I would say limited by social consciousness. Let's go to etymonline.com. We're going to learn who this Aleph is of the letter capital A. What is you may think you know A, but if you haven't looked at it, you're only familiar with it because it's in your life all the time, everywhere. It's the alpha of the alphabet, the letter A, capital A. Etymonline.com, etymology of the letter A, that's true original sense. First letter of the Roman alphabet, which is Latin, based on Greek alpha, C alpha. In music, from 1600 as the name of the sixth note of the natural scale. It is the note given by a fixed tone instrument, usually oboe or organ, to which all the instruments of an orchestra are tuned. As a blood type, 1926, denoting A agglutinogens. The A side of a two-sided record by 1962, see side. Bold links to alpha and side here with the capital A. Held the material chosen for promotion. Like A1 steak sauce, right? A1. A is the first letter, it is 1. Alpha is 1. Beta, Bethel, beta is 2. Held the material, the side of a two-sided record, held the material chosen for promotion. A-bomb, short for atom bomb, was in the newspaper headlines by August 8th, 1945. A, indefinite article form of an used before consonants, mid-12th century, a weakened form of Old English an or one, see an. An is on, one. The disappearances of the n before consonants was mostly complete by mid-14th century. After 1600, the n also began to vanish before words beginning with a sounded h. It is still retained by many writers before unaccented syllables in H or EU, but is now no longer normally spoken as such. The N also lingered, especially in southern England dialect, before W and Y through 15C. CIA is 23, no, 13, sorry. C is 3, I is 9, 3 and 9 is 12, and A is 1, 13. 13 reasons why. As in baker's dozen, Hannah baker's dozen, Hannibal bull. As in twice a day, a reduced form of Old English an, on, see on each, the on and an, A, E, I, O, U, A, all the vowels. A is the first letter, the first vowel, and it's one with all of the others in its oddness. The order of Orion ordained alphabet, Aleph Beth, is A through Z, Aleph through Zeta, 1 through 26. And A is the first vowel, or vow of El, the bull god of Phoenician Canaanite. So let's go to Alpha, which will take us to Aleph. The only link here is C Aleph. Alpha 1300 from Latin alpha, from Greek. This is where our A comes from, English A, from Latin A, from Greek A. And then we're going to go beyond Greek. From Greek alpha, from Hebrew, to Hebrew or Phoenician. To Hebrew or Phoenician. Aleph, see Aleph. It's not just Hebrew. The Greeks added A because Greek words cannot end in most consonants. Sense of beginning of anything is from late 14C, often paired with omega, the last letter in the Greek alphabet representing the end. Sense of first in a sequence, so alpha and omega, alpha and zeta, beginning and ending. Sense of first in a sequence is from 1620s. In astronomy, the designation of the brightest star of each consonant, each constellation, it's constar, atom, Asian, ion. The use constellation, stellar, stella. The use of Greek letters, ambulance, siren. The use of Greek letters, vocabulary. The use of Greek letters in star names began with Bayer's Atlas in 1603. Alpha male was in use by c. 1960 among scientists studying animals. Applied to humans in society from 1992. Aleph. Name for Hebrew and Phoenician first letter ancestor of A. Aleph. This is where alpha comes from, Hebrew and Phoenician. Ancestor of A, 1300, from Semitic languages, pausal form of Aleph, like elephant, or ox. So let's write this down here. So this is the furthest back we go in the ancestry. I'm going to write the S-T-R-E-E of the stars here, ancestry of A, and it means in Phoenician, Canaanite, O-X, which is what? Yes, A-B-U-L-L, of the Bible or the Torah, of Taurus, of the torso. And Taurus is a homophone with T-O-R-U-S. So these are what we have to go to next to get the picture here. So the ancestry, this is all about the tree because it goes from English A, to alpha in Greek, to Aleph in Phoenician, which means literally ox, O-X. And this is a picture of an ox, a bull, the male bovine, who is partnered with the cow, or yoked or joined, the pair of bulls and the pair of elves of the sun and the moon, symbolically or symbolically. So now let's go to see what? Alphabet. Letters of a language arranged in customary order. 1570s, from late Latin alphabetum. Tertullian, from Greek alphabetos, from alpha plus beta, attested from early 15C, in a sense learning or lore acquired through reading. Words for it in Old English included staffrau, literally row of letters, stefrof, array of letters, and compare ABC. It was a wise, though a lazy, cleric whom Luther mentions in his Table Talk, the monk who, instead of reciting his breviary, used to run over the alphabet and then say, "Oh my God, take this alphabet and put it together how you will." William S. Walsh, Handy Book of Literary Curiosities. Now let's go to Alvin Boyd Kuhn's The Esoteric Structure of the Alphabet. So on Edom Online, continue going into this, look into all of these words and realize that everything that has to do with language, vocabulary, and Aleph, Beth, alphabet has to do with the symbol of the bull and all of its associated symbolism and pictors, pictures. And that anything written, that's why we have bulls, we have bills, you pay for bills with bills, which is a lot of bull. We have the expression bullshit. The throat chakra in the cerebellum is where Taurus is. This is the association of the bull with Bel, with the Lord, the Phoenician, with Babylon, and the tower or tor of Babel, and why you take a tor, and why you hold a torch, and why you have the torso, because it's all about the sun ascending. And bull, of course, is this one of the words that equals, no, bull is 47, which is what the Freemasonic compass is set to, and Taurus is in the ascendant, the ray side of the year of resurrection at the 3 position of the east, the 1, 2, 3 of the equator, the Tropic of Cancer, and the Tropic of Capricorn. The Taurus torso of your upper half, from your waist up. Gemini in the arms and the lungs. Cancer in the sternum, the breastbone, the hard shell of the crab, of the crest of the wave of Christ at the top of the tree. The 12. Christ has 12 disciples. L's. And then you have in this summer portion coming up next. So you have Cancer in the sternum. Then you have in the July of Leo, you have in your solar plexus, Leo and the solar plexus, the LO of the sun in the upper half of the year, as the sun has begun to decline to its death in December. He's already gone to the peak, to his summit of the wave of the crest of Christ. And then you have Virgo, Leo and Virgo in the navel, above the belt, and then Libra at the September separation of evening, Eve, Adam, odd, dawn, evening, on and off, sunrise, sunset. The sun every day does that path it does on the macro scale through the year, from 12 to 6, from noon to midnight. Symbolically, 6 in the sun's journey through the day is the 6 o'clock position, the lowest point of the peak of darkness and death, or the shadow of Shad, the devil, which is completely literary, completely allegorical, symbolic. Not at all historical, not actual. Historic L. Free your mind. I know what you're trying to do. I'm trying to free your mind. Break the spell of L. Because when you stop walking on eggshells, thinking that there's a devil, well, everything changes. You have to take responsibility. That's why most people ignore it, or keep it at arm's length. But the reality is it's just like that episode of Black Mirror for people with the little AI doll. People are completely ensnared in